My name is Amy Mozzie, and I'm with Centurion Boats. And today I'm going to walk you through the all-new 2026 Centurion Nv213. This boat is your next victory on the water, and I'm going to tell you why. The incredible style of the NV213 from Centurion is visible even from the dock. This thing has an amazingly aggressive look with lots of body lines and a cool, wide bow. This gives you a very distinct look on the lake. And if you're coming into dock, you have optional docking lights that you can use to light your way. The distinct body lines of the NV213 become much more apparent as we move down the side of the boat. You can see just how many lines there are. And while it gives this boat a really aggressive look, it actually has a practical application. The more body lines it has, the more rigid this hull is. It doesn't allow for flex, the more body lines we have. So this hull is extremely solid and quiet because of that. You also have the style of the cropped Centurion windshield on the NV213. It's got the model designator chiseled into it, but the cropped windshield gives it a little bit more of a sporty look. It also has a practical application. With the cropped windshield, when I'm coming back around to pick up a rider, I don't have to stand to talk over the windshield wing. I can sit and talk with my rider, make sure we're both on the same page, and then we're off to that next epic surf session. As we move further down the profile of the NV213, you start to realize this is a pretty big 21-foot boat. It's actually 21 feet 3 inches, and it's got a lot of function built into the exterior of the boat. The first thing I want to point out is the fuel fill. Now, normally that's not a big deal, but there's one just like it on the other side. So there's one on the port, there's one on the starboard. And this gives us the opportunity to fuel the boat no matter what side your tow vehicle fuels from. So we're going into the gas station one time, fueling both, and then you're out of there. It makes it so much more convenient. We also have pull-up cleats on this boat. It comes with 4, and then you can get an additional 2 to tie the boat off to the dock. That's really convenient and helps depending on what dock you're tying to, how many connection points you may or may not have. You also have a fresh air vent on the rear corner that brings fresh air to the engine. This is really important as far as the functionality of the boat, the performance of the engine, but it also looks really cool. It is a billet piece made by Billet Industries, and it is made to match the boat perfectly. But you've also got a customizable Centurion logo here next to me. Now, this Centurion logo is kind of a black chrome, and it gives a really nice look, especially on this all-white boat. But you'll be able to customize this logo with the availability of 3 different colored inserts. I can insert a white Centurion into this same decal, a black, or a gray, and I can really customize the exterior look of my boat by doing that. The only other thing I have to talk to you about on this profile shot is the bumper cleats. These are optional bumper cleats, and I can plug them in right here and keep this nice Centurion badge and the side of my boat super safe by adding the bumper here. The great thing about having bumper cleats is that I don't have to tie my bumper to the pull-up cleat. I can use my pull-up cleat just for the dock line. It's that simple. It's that functional, and hey, it works. The 2026 NV213 is built on the Opta-V hull, just like every other Centurion boat in our line. And this hull gives this particular boat a really smooth ride because of its deep V, but also a very balanced ride because of the triangular lifting pads that are on the running surface's rear corners. These pads create lift when the boat is underway and really balance the boat side to side. Even if there's a little bit of an inconsistency in where people are sitting, your ride is going to be balanced. This also gives you a more level running attitude through the water, which creates less resistance, which gives you better fuel efficiency. And all of this with the hull that makes the world's best surf waves and wakeboard wakes. The Opta-V hull does all of those things and does it at world-class levels. As we turn the corner on the 2026 Centurion NV213, you notice a very distinct characteristic about this boat. It's right at the transom. The transom of the boat protrudes out at the top and tapers towards the bottom. What this does is give this boat its own unique style, but it also has a practical purpose. This boat is a Centurion wake surf boat, which means it makes amazing waves, the world's best. We want to make sure that those waves stay in the water and don't make their way onto the interior of the boat. And that is why the transom of the NV213 is designed this way, to knock down that roller that could be coming towards the back of the boat. So there's never a danger of you taking water over the back. The same could be said for the bow, where that bow is a little higher, so you're not going to take water over the nose as well. You've also got a swim step that is specially designed to protrude further from the transom and give you more real estate to get up on, even though it's a little bit tucked under that specially designed NV transom. In addition to that, we can see our QuickSurf Pro tabs great from this angle. QuickSurf Pro is available as an option on the NV213. This system creates our curl, and it allows our surf wave to change from side to side. It does this by creating lift opposite the surf side when the plate is down. It digs the surf side corner or displaces water at the surf side corner and creates the curl. This curl can then be transferred to the opposite side with a button press, and that's made possible by Linco. It's our Linco actuators, which happen to be smart this year, that allow us to transfer in under 2 seconds. This speed is only part of those rams and their benefit. What they really provide is accuracy and precision operation. We always know with these new rams where they are in the position of their motion, of their throw, and it communicates that through a CAN bus system back to our dash. And then the driver always understands exactly where the plate is positioned so they can fine-tune that performance for their surfer in tow. The NV213 comes standard with a Stinger wake plate. What the wake plate does is change the running attitude of the boat. It basically takes hook in and out of the running surface. What it does is when it goes down, it makes the nose of the boat go down, because at the back of the boat, it gets lift and makes the nose of the boat go down. When the plate is up, it allows the back of the boat to sink further into the water and causes the nose of the boat to go up. That's how the wake plate works. When you opt for the silent Stinger wake plate, you add a whole nother benefit to this package with taking down the noise of the engine. It basically puts water into the plate, tumbles it with exhaust from the engine, and dampens the engine noise. So much so that you'll get noise levels at the observer seat of about 75 decibels, or that of a kitchen dishwasher. It's extremely quiet, and it's also very effective to help the performance of your NV213. Another cool option that you'll notice under the swim step of this Centurion NV213 is the underwater lights. Now, these just aren't any underwater lights. These are RGBW capable underwater lights, and they are very high powered, 10,000 lumens a light. So they are extremely bright. When I get up onto the swim step of the NV213, I realize this is a really big swim step. There's a lot of room up here, so I feel safe even though I'm pretty high off the ground right now. But this swim step allows you to get onto it more easily because it rolls off towards the rear edge. It also has tooled-in handles, so I can pull myself up onto the swim step even when the ballast doesn't have the back end of the boat weighted down into the water. I can also opt for a swim step ladder to go with the NV213 if I want to look a little more graceful getting up on the back of the swim step. But once I'm up here, I also noticed that this area of the NV213 looks extremely inviting. The sun pad is huge. I mean, it's huge for a 21-foot boat, but it would be big for a 23-foot boat. There's a lot of real estate to this sun pad. First, I got to store my shoes. But then I can take a seat and be super comfortable. I mean, I could be up here with 4 other people and still be comfortable. After I'm done hanging out on the sun pad of the NV213, when I go to get back in the boat, I have a great walkway to get through, and I don't have to step all over my upholstery. So this runway gets me all the way through to the interior of the boat safely, securely, and gives me peace of mind that I'm not stepping all over my cushions. When I walk over the sun pad of the 213 to get down into the lounge, you start to realize that this is a pretty big 21-foot boat. I've got plenty of room in here for me and 11 other passengers, and we can have a great time and be super comfortable at the same time. I also love how when I walk over the sun pad, I step down and I'm stepping onto a fiberglass piece with gator step on it. I'm not stepping down onto my seat. Even though these seats are super tough and resilient, it's still nice to know, it gives me peace of mind that I'm not putting all my weight down onto the seat every time I board from the back of the boat. This is a really strong interior, but it's also really comfortable. It's a Cool Touch vinyl, and this is our Cool Touch with hex accent. And this Cool Touch is literally cool to the touch, even though it's a darker color, but it also looks really cool. It's got a matte finish to it. It gives it a higher end look. You also have Teflon thread that holds together the Cool Touch vinyl. And we've got thread that is really, really tough and resilient. In fact, it's probably stronger than the vinyl itself. It resists things like acid rain and harsh cleaning chemicals. But we also apply a lot of it to the interior. What I mean by that is we put a lot of stitching in this interior. And we do that because the high stress areas of the interior, we want them to stay together. So we do that by putting a French seam on a really high stress area like the corners of the cushion, or we do a half stitch on areas that may not be as stressful, but we still want the pieces of vinyl to always stay together. This means that we sew a French seam 3 times, we sew a half stitch twice, and this guarantees that the upholstery doesn't pull apart over time. You will not be able to find an area of the boat where we put 2 pieces of vinyl together with 1 single stitch. It just doesn't happen because it doesn't last. And we want this interior to last for the life of the boat itself. You can also customize the colors of this interior, whether it be Cool Touch or any of the other vinyl that we offer. We offer 9 different colors of Cool Touch. We offer 16 different colors of our hex vinyl and our other flat vinyl that we call Comfort Strong. And you can go crazy with the design of your upholstery with all of those colors. You also have very resilient vinyl itself. It has a 17 mil top coat. It guards against abrasions, which would be like cuts in the interior. It also guards against staining. And you can customize the non-skid or the gator step that's on the floor to match your vinyl colors. Right now, we've got a 2-layer gator step with the Centurion cut, and it's black on the top, and it looks like sandstone on the bottom. This will give you a really custom feel that flows all the way through to your floor design. You can also customize the interior side panels. The side panels in this particular boat are black, but you could make them any color you want because essentially they're a gel-coated fiberglass part. They're made really similar to the hull and deck of the boat, so you can color them in any one of the 37 different gel coat colors that we offer. In the side panels, you also have cup holders and speakers. You can get black speakers or white speakers. You have grab handles and a Centurion Warrior emblem. The interior of this boat is made to be customizable. It's made to be beautiful, and it's made to be strong and last for the life of your NV213. The NV213 comes standard with the Drop Zone Auto Tower from Roswell. This tower is beautiful. It goes with the aggressive lines of this boat so well, but it is also extremely customizable and strong. And it has a folding function that is automatic or electronic. I can fold this tower by pushing a button. I can fold it up, I can fold it down, and it does it exactly the way I want when I want. And I can get it into a garage where I have some headspace challenges and get it in there easily. Also, this tower is extremely strong. When I put the tower back up and lock it into place with the patented cam latch, it makes sure that this thing is stable, sturdy. There's no vibration. It's not going to sway going down the road on a bumpy road. It is really stout. I can also customize this tower. I can customize the look of it. I can change the colors on the tower shields between 37 different gel coat colors. I can change the color of the tower itself. I can choose black or white. I can even add options to this tower, like the Bombshell 2.0 racks or the Bombshell 1.0 racks. I can add a bimini to this tower, like the So Long bimini that's on it now. And on the 213, which is a 21-foot 3-inch boat, this bimini literally covers the entire lounge. I can also add a stereo system to the 213 that has tower speakers. This particular system is the Coverfire 2.0 system from Roswell. It rocks. I would compare it to almost a Bose type sound. It is extremely clear and it sounds really good. And new for this year, we have the Wet Sounds XXX sub in a specially designed box ported to maximize the low end sound on this particular system. So you've got the best of both worlds, crisp, clean highs and really booming bass. So this sound system is almost as cool as the Drop Zone Tower itself. The Centurion NV213's driver's area is really, really comfortable. It's comfortable and it's controllable. The comfortable part comes from the Cobra racing seat. It's got a high back, it's got high sides that kind of hug you into place, and it's got a lot of functionality. It swivels into the lounge and allows me to participate with my passengers when I'm not trying to focus on the water ahead of me, but also it allows me to just spin around really quick, take a look at what's going behind the boat. If everything's okay, I can spin back around and I'm ready to pull the next rider on their next epic run. This seat is really, really comfortable. This dash is really, really controlling. At least it allows me to control everything I need to. The knob ops that I have on my left is new for 2026, and this is really quick control for me. In fact, I don't really even need to look at it. I can control my stereo volume just by turning the knob up or down, and I can also control my song selection for my rider in tow. I can control my playlist selection all by bumping this knob one way or the other. I can also change my wave from side to side by pushing the buttons next to the knob. I also have control over my bilge, my blower, my nav light, and my anchor light all through the knob ops panel. This thing allows me tons of control without having to put my focus on the panel itself. Now, the Evo touchscreen is a panoramic screen, and it gives me control of every function in the boat, but I really do need to focus on it. It does have a convenient 8-button navigation on the right, so it allows me to choose my menu or my screen that I want to go to quickly. If I want to go to the surf screen, I hit the wave. If I want to check out my ballast screen, I hit what looks like a half-full glass of water. This helps me understand where I can go quickly. And then the information that it provides for me is it shows me every different ballast area in the NV213 that I have, and there are 6 of them available, and it tells me how full or empty they happen to be. This year for 2026, our ballast is a fast mover ballast system by Seaflow. What this means to you is it fills the ballast in the NV213 68% faster because the pumps for these areas are reversible pumps that pump 13.5 gallons per minute. This is 68% faster than they did last year. This gets you surfing much more quickly, and it's super convenient. And you can always see the information as far as your ballast level goes right here on this screen. I also have access to mapping. Mapping is optional in the NV213, but if I had the Navionics chip, I could see the layout of my lake very easily. I could put a point that I want to go to, get there, and be able to get back to where I was very quickly, very easily. The switching screen gives me access to my interior lighting switches, my tower speaker lights, my interior speaker lights, my underwater lights, docking lights, tower lights. If I had a heater in this boat, it would be switched on this screen as well. It gives me access to all of those areas. And because this boat has RGBW capability, I can also change the colors of all of those lights. And I can change each zone independent of one another, or I can change them all at the same time. It's completely up to me. I also have access to control my stereo through the screen. So whether I choose to control the stereo through the Evo screen or the knob ops, that's up to me, whatever's most convenient at the time. When I choose my rider profile button on the right, I have access to the 4 factory presets that are already in the NV213. I can customize these presets. I can add my own. It's very easy to do. I can also take a factory preset, make some changes to it, and save a new preset if I realize that that's the best settings I've ever had. And it's really easy. The settings for the general display maps and the engine of this boat are accessible through the little gear icon in the very bottom right-hand corner of the screen. This gives you easy access to every setting you need that's kind of going on behind the scenes of the Evo touchscreen. The engine that is standard in the NV213 is the 5.3-liter ZZ5 from PCM. This has 400 foot-pounds of torque. It has a 2-to-1 gear reduction, and it is a powerful engine with a 17-inch prop to get you up and on the water quickly. Not only does it have all that power, but it's extremely efficient as far as fuel consumption and really quiet. So it's not going to annoy you with a ton of noise when you're surfing fully loaded for 8 hours at a time. It's a very, very cool engine, and it's more than enough to push you around the lake in the NV213. This screen is amazing, and the amount of control it gives me is unbelievable. But at the same time, I have to focus on the screen to really move through this navigation. There is some control in this boat that allows me to focus on the water and still have control over the performance. And that is with the sport shifters. With the sport shifters on my right, mounted behind the steering wheel, I can change the set speed or my zero-off speed control. I can pull the sport shifter on top towards me, and it will increase my speed. I can pull the sport shifter on the bottom towards me, and it decreases the speed. On the left-hand side, I can control my stinger wake plate position. I can bring the plate up or bring the plate down, depending on how I want to shape my wake or wave, or if I want to change the running attitude of the boat itself. But I never have to take my eyes off the water in front of me, never have to take my hands off the steering wheel. I also have really quick access to my cell phone in this wireless clamping cell phone charger. It allows my phone to be mounted at the dash, and I can easily see if there's a message I need to take care of, or if there's something else going on with out there in the rest of the world, people that aren't with me at the lake, which I don't know that I really care. But all of this control that happens on the NV213 dash is really, really important to me. I also have great visibility because the dash itself is not high. I'm not even sitting on the bolster. I could, and then I'd be up above the windshield, but I don't need to do that to see over this dash. This is one of the best places to sit in the NV213. The observer's area of the Centurion Nv213 is big. And it's not just big for a 21-foot boat. It's big for any size boat. You can put a couple people in this seat. You have access to 3 cup holders, your tunes. You even have access to locking glove box storage. This also houses the battery management system. Now you don't have to dig through all of your gear that's stowed in the OB storage area to get to your isolator switch. Now we have an entire system that allows you to truly isolate your batteries, turn them on and turn them off very easily. I can have my house battery on, listen to my tunes, have my lights on, and just chill in a cove. And when I'm ready to go back to the dock, I can turn that engine battery on and get myself back safely. This is a great feature in the NV213, but I've also got a ton of storage. If I lift up the lean back of the OB storage area, I've got cavernous storage. I can shove anything and everything under there, and I don't need to worry about getting to my isolator switch because my battery management is in the glove box. One of the things I really appreciate about the NV213 is that there's a trash can, and the trash can is easily accessible in my walkthrough. So I can throw my trash in, it's out of sight, out of mind. Everybody has a place for it to go, and everybody can get to it very easily. The NV213 is a walk-through open bow, and at 21 feet 3 inches, you would expect that walk-through to be pretty tight and the bow to be pretty small, but that is opposite from the truth. I can make it through this walk-through no problem, and once I'm in the bow, I've got a lot of room to kick back and relax. I've even got room for another person. We've got a couple cup holders. I've got my speakers up here, PowerPoints for my phone, a grab handle in case my driver gets a little nuts. I can hold on. But I've also got a filler cushion to make this bow into a playpen. That's an option in the NV213. This is a really comfortable place to sit in the boat, and that's not typical in a towboat. Typically, the bow is the bounciest place to sit, but thanks to the Opta V, it gives us a really smooth ride, even in rough water. So I can sit back, chill, and I've got a smooth ride the whole time. I hope you've enjoyed learning more about the 2026 Centurion NV213. This boat has it all in a 21-foot package with room for 12. And I want you to go to your local Centurion dealer and check it out for yourself today.